I watched the Michael Jackson movie, and there was a theme that stopped me completely. Not because of who he was, but because of what I was seeing playing out over the big screen that I recognized all too well. Because even with his level of success, which is more than most of us several lifetimes over will ever experience, even with all that success, he was still saying yes to things that were not his to carry out of love, out of loyalty, out of fear, out of not wanting to disappoint the people who mattered the most. And friend, that decision made over and over again, it cost him something that he had to deal with for the rest of his life. So, friend, if people pleasing can actually find somebody at that level with that kind of talent and greatness, it is just a sign that none of us are exempt. So, what has people pleasing been costing you? And are you willing to pay the price? Now, friend, if you have not yet seen the Michael Jackson movie, this should not at all be a spoiler alert because so much of this is known information. But really looking at this from the people pleasing angle is maybe something that hasn't been explored enough. But I love this example so much. So let's talk about that victory tour, okay? Because listen, at that time, Michael had his own album. He had his own goals and dreams that he wanted to chase. He had this whole brand new creative identity that he wanted to express. And his dad basically told him he was going to do this victory tour. And he said yes. Some might say it was out of fear. And some might also say that it was out of love for his brothers because he didn't want to disappoint them. But, friend, how many times have you too found yourself in a situation where you have said yes to someone else when that meant a no to you? And even if you are doing it with your heart in the right place, because truth be told, people pleasing out of love, it's probably one of the most common reasons why people please in the first place. Because when you love someone and there is a part of you, you want to help them, you want to be there for them. But there's also another part of you who has your own dreams, who has your own level of ambitions or things that you want to pursue instead. But you decide to say yes anyway. And friend, if that is not a common universal thread, I don't know what is. So, where have you found yourself in that place where you have said yes to something when you also ended up saying no to you? Friend. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That gets me every time because I think we've all found ourselves there. And people pleasing, even out of love, it still means that there is a price to pay. And you have to ask yourself if you're really willing to pay that price. And in Michael's case, it was something that he paid for the rest of his life. And that brings me to the infamous Pepsi commercial. Yep, you know the one. The one that he didn't want to do, but he said yes to anyway. Yep, that one. And he really did not want to do it just because it wasn't aligned with who he was, but yet he said yes to it anyway. And that decision right there led to an accident where he experienced severe nerve damage. And if I'm not mistaken, he went through several surgeries trying to correct it over the years. And even with all of the repairing that had happened, it still left him dealing with a pain that he had to live with for the rest of his life. And sometimes when we decide to people please, when we decide to give our yes away to someone else, and we say no to ourselves, it can result in more than just some emotional pain. He suffered physical pain for the rest of his days. And we don't often realize what our people pleasing actually cost us. Sometimes it is physical, emotional, or even financial distress because of us deciding to say yes to something that was never really meant for us to carry, never really meant for us to do, and yet we take it on anyway, as if it is our burden to bear. And friend, sometimes we say yes, not realizing that the very cost of it could mean our own well being. Sometimes we don't even realize that one decision to keep someone else comfortable is the very thing that's going to make us uncomfortable for days and maybe even years to come. And it just amazed me to see someone who had achieved so much success still be faced with people pleasing and still struggling to say no to other people and yes to himself. And it's not a character flaw. And it has nothing to do, actually, with the level of success he acquired because it really just shows the humility of people pleasing and that it can reach you no matter what level of success or what status in life you have achieved. It is a universal thing that we all face at some point in time. Some of us are really great at telling other people no, and some of us really struggle with that, and that is okay. But one thing I can tell you is if I send you a fax, just know that it's over. If you know, you know. Because, boy, I tell you, one of Michael's new managers, he tried to send that fax, honey. I was in the theater like, ooh, not the fax. So if I send you a fax, just know that it's over. But no, really and truly, you know I play too much. But honestly, friend, you have got to take a pause for the cause and recognize what people pleasing is costing you. And maybe the price isn't so high right now, but over time, it can really cost you so much more than you even realize right now. So, take a pause for the cause and recognize what area in your life you tend to people please the most. And really evaluate, is it costing you your health, your peace, your purpose? What is it actually costing you to give away your yes to someone else so that they can be comfortable, but yet it leaves you feeling uncomfortable? And while we at it, let's normalize making ourselves comfortable, okay? Because way too often we have prioritized the comfort of someone else over ourselves. And it does not make you selfish to prioritize yourself. And even if somebody decides to throw the selfish word at you, accept it and know that that is okay too. Sometimes that's what it takes because we have got to start choosing ourselves first, friend. You have to put on your vest, your air supply first. You cannot be on the plane helping out other people, okay? Too many times we do that, and then you wind up passed out somewhere. And now you can't help nobody. You can't help yourself, and you can't help nobody else. So let's normalize taking care of ourselves as our top priority, okay? And you will have plenty left in your tank to take care of other people, to say yes to other people. But make sure that if anybody is going to get your yes, it needs to be you first. Okay, friend? Okay. Let's learn a lesson or two from MJ, okay? And not just how to moonwalk. Let me get you this journal prompt because I play too much, but I love it here. Okay. Where are you saying yes when everything in you is saying no? And what has that yes already cost you? Friend, when you journal about this, remember no shade, no shame, and no judgment. Do not give yourself a hard time for acknowledging where this shows up for you. Awareness is always the first step to change. You cannot change what you do not acknowledge. And that is exactly what this is meant to do. It's meant to help you acknowledge where this theme is playing out in your life, because from that point, you get to decide if that is a story that you want to continue to tell, or if you're ready to change the story and tell a new story. Or, like in Michael Jackson's case, take on a new creative identity. This is your life, and you only get one. So let's master prioritizing yourself and your yes first. Okay, friend? Ooh, so good. And I would love for you to meet me in the comments and tell me, what is one yes you need to change to a no starting today? Friend, because we are doing the work. You hear me? We are going to take that yes and turn it into a no, because sometimes you got to say no to somebody else in order to say yes to you. And let's normalize that being okay. Okay? Okay. Friend, I have loved making this episode for you. I hope that you have loved and enjoyed it just as much as I have making it for you. There is a podcast episode today that was just released to go right along with this. It's episode 301. Yes! Ooh, celebrate 301 podcast episodes. Okay, yes. That's how I want you celebrating all your wins, okay? Every single last one of them. Okay, but it's episode 301, and it is called How to Stop People Pleasing and Choose Yourself Instead. Because, friend, if it makes us selfish, then so be it, okay? Not you out here just being hateful. That's not what the selfishness is about, but sometimes it is necessary, okay? Okay. All right, friend. I love you so much, and I'm sending you great big virtual hugs. And to know me is to know I don't play about me. And if you hang out with me long enough, you will love yourself so much, you won't play about you either. Okay, friend? I cannot wait to see you in the next episode tomorrow. And in the meantime, I'll meet you in the comments.